E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show. Live streaming now to millions of devices around the world on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook live streaming. Our shows are available video on demand on these channels. And we broadcast daily, Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on these channels. On Mondays, Expanding Your Business. Tuesdays, Natural Health and Wellness. On Wednesdays, we cover Mentoring Our Youth. And on Thursdays, our new show, Ideas Worth Knowing. And on Fridays, Women in Leadership. To be able to watch our television show on your favorite device, please go to e360tv.com and download the app for your favorite device. Brought to you by our producers and hosts, Jim Grant and Donna Guinois. Along with our host, Beata Severin Reed and Emerson Brantley. Supported by our admin team of Michaela Vidal and Gaia Guinois Balconi Weda.
What? We lost Jim. There you are.
You know,
how did that happen, Jim?
Yeah, I tell you, I went to get a cup of coffee, and I just removed myself from the stage just in case it went live. And I sat down. Well, your dynamic charm, your good looks, and your personal banality. This is a piece of cake for you.
Stop it! Just because.
Oh yeah. He was going to pay me $20 after the show for saying that, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I said it. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. The Messages of Inspirational Stories is proudly brought to you by the good guys at the 6minutewebinar.com. And if you're thinking about trying to write a book or give a presentation or just try to present something that you offer, you really need the 6-minute webinar. Because the 6-minute webinar enables you to remain very focused. It has an introduction, a body, a close, and a call to action, all within 6 minutes or less. Because that person is looking at you, they want to know one thing. Are you the person that can help them in their hour of need? We're also brought to you by a good friend of mine, Mr. Bill Heinrich. The 7 Levels of Truth is his book. And Bill and I, we've been friends for many years, and it's a pleasure for me to be able to share this information about his book, The 7 Levels of Truth. And I just want to share on the very back cover here, just a few words right here that's written right there because it says it best. This book is for anyone seeking answers, solutions, and success in life. I want you to brand this next sentence into your brain. Your birthright is to enjoy abundance, love, peace, and harmony in life. And the 7 Levels of Truth helps you achieve those levels. Also, too, I was honored to be invited to be a part of this book here as an author. Your Health Turnaround Story. I was invited there because of the heart attack and all I went through. You folks that follow the show are familiar with that. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we are so thankful and humble to be in front of you, whether you're watching us, on your cell phone, your laptop, your big screen TV, wherever it might be out there in TV land. We're just very, very honored to be here. And Emerson is really, he's over there. He's got his hammer and chisel going. He's making some banners or something. Yeah, that's it. Emerson, how are you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm doing great, Jim, but I'll get better.
Yeah, the day has just begun, ladies and gentlemen. It's not over yet. He's going to get better and better.
I gotta stay on top of that positive attitude because today we have Mr. Smile.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mr. Smile himself. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been missing in action for a couple of weeks, but we were able to get him back on the stage here. He's been out of country. We're so glad to have him back, and he's going to be meeting with you pretty soon in Orlando, isn't he?
He is. Here just in a couple of days.
Yeah.
We've met here on, I don't know, half dozen or so shows. There he is.
Oh yeah, there he is.
Half
Hey,
dozen or
Vinny.
so shows, but we're going to be meeting face to face.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
We're-
such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning here, about 50 degrees here in San Francisco, California, where I live, and I'm traveling, coming here to Orlando, my beautiful place there, and be there 3 days. Look forward to seeing you, Emerson. It's going to be a pleasure. And also, brother Mike Lewis and and Anil, if possible. Yeah. They live also in Orlando, in Celebrations, Florida. Yeah.
It's a beautiful facility down there. I've Emerson and I, we've been down there, and he's been there more than I have. I was there with Grill and Marking, got a chance to speak on stage, and Emerson, I think I told you this.
I invited you to speak on it, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Yes, you
because
did.
I was doing a lot of work with the guerrilla marketing folks there.
That's correct. I got the invite from Emerson, and I was there at the hotel, and I had on that blazer that I wear, and tie and stuff, navy blazer. Had my gold rim eyeglasses on, and these two ladies got in the elevator, and they looked at me and and I didn't pay any attention to them. And then as the doors opened, we went out, and I let them go first, naturally. And they said, one of them said, "Excuse me, sir, are you Bob Proctor?" And I said, "No, ma'am, I'm Bob's little brother, Jim. He had the flu and couldn't make it." "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I said, "Ma'am, I'm not any relation to Mr. Bob Proctor, and I never thought about me even resembling Bob Proctor." And a good friend of mine, a good friend of ours, he told me, he says, "Jim," he says, "you ought to go over, when we're in Scottsdale, go over and introduce yourself to Bob Proctor and let him know that, a lot of people think you look like him." I said, "Why would I want to go over there and aggravate the man like that?" He goes, "That guy looks nothing like me. Jeez." Yeah, I tell you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Vinny,
gosh.
you got one of your great friends here too, don't you?
Yes. I've got a wonderful, wonderful friend, AJ Gupta. I also got to know his dad, Anil Gupta, and they both live in Celebrations. They are world renowned. They travel all over the world and help so many people. Ajay really helps youth all across the world.
That's wonderful.
Stages. He's been with Tony Robbins, with Richard Branson. I mean, all these wonderful personalities. Same, just like his, dad. Also, I'm very fortunate to meet them lately, and also I invited them on my show. So I can't wait, to add value. I just wanted to say, it just brought me back the memories of what this is the one, just to show last year, I was at that conference, which I'm going there tomorrow, and it's the one in, where is that? Florida
Yes.
Hotel.
Orlando.
There
In
on the
Orlando.
stage. Yeah. It just brought back memories.
AJ, I had no idea. So Anil is your dad?
Yes. Do you know him?
I have stayed in your house, my friend.
No way.
You weren't driving at that point, I'm sure. But
Wow.
yes, I've stayed there with your dad and with your mom and your family.
wow.
Wow, that's beautiful. Very
Anil and I
young.
were in a mastermind together for 2 or 3 years. In fact, I have a tremendous testimonial from him.
Fantastic.
wow.
It's, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's
beautiful.
terrific.
That's
That's terrific.
Beautiful. Wow.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love that.
And his dad was doing at the time some real serious relationship types of seminars.
Yes.
And my youngest daughter was dating a young guy whose family was from India. and the two of them went through that training together.
Wow. Wow.
In fact, I
Jeez.
think I went down. I don't remember if my wife did, but yeah, that
Wow.
goes way
What
back,
a
my friend.
what a
Welcome,
small world.
welcome, welcome.
Wow.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful and blessed to be here.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. That's one of the things I love about doing this show because, ladies and gentlemen, it just amazes me how things like this just come together, and they're for a reason too. And
There
one
are
of
no
those,
accidents.
yeah, one of those reasons too. I like to encourage you, no matter where you are right now in your life, no matter what's going on. You could be like, oh, feel like the day is just nothing but trouble and worry. Take a deep breath and relax because that's the perfect place for you right now because that's not where you're going to wind up. That's where you're going to go and grow and find a better way out of there. Just keep the faith. Don't worry. Let that worry go and focus on recalibrating your mental GPS
Yeah.
and know what your end result is. And I was talking to a young couple here. Oh, I got a couple of cards here. And they were asking me what I value as wealth. And I said, well, your health is your wealth.
Yes.
There you go.
And I was talking to them, and I was trying to get them to be very, very specific in their goals. And we're going to be talking today about goals with young people. And I knew what they wanted, but they had troubles getting the simple message out. So I wrote down on the card, and I said, "How about one of these for your goals?
Get
Out of debt." See,
Yes.
that's very simple. And the reason I share that with you is because whenever you're setting a goal, don't set something as real high and abracadabra because it doesn't work. You set yourself up to fail so many times. The little things in life, giving thanks for your family, giving thanks that people love you, giving thanks that you have the ability to love others, that's priceless.
Yeah.
You can't buy that in a store, And today, Vinny, we're so glad to have you back. My goodness gracious. We've talked about so many great subjects, and today you wanted to talk about what when it comes to our youth?
Today we were talking about problem-solving skills. I know
Oh,
we have talked
yeah.
about so many different topics. I was gone for
Oh,
weeks
yeah.
out of the country, and
Mm-hmm.
talk about how to really, because problem solving
Mm-hmm.
is really at the helm of everything happening in
It
our
is.
life. We come through fork. I always say forks in
Mm-hmm.
our decision making. I can do left or I can go right.
Mm-hmm.
One path is right, one is wrong. Sometimes we take wrong path. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because we learn from the wrong paths.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, if we could solve the problems, our own problems, and the people around us, then our life is worthwhile.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's all about what you can give back to others
Yes.
because when you bless others, you automatically just open the window for the blessings to come into you.
Yes. Yes.
And all of us have seen and probably know some folks, and I think I've known my fair share of people who have really. I just saw a deer run across my property. I live out in the country, but a lot of people they're only focused on what's in it for them. They're only interested in, as we say in the country, they're only interested in buttering their own bread. They don't care whether you eat or not. And the sad part of that is 100% of the time, they cheat themselves out of the true riches of life. They really, truly do. They don't realize it, but they do. But when you give, one thing, I forget who it was that said this, and I loved it. It says, you cannot outgive the master giver.
Mhm.
And that is so true.
Well, that's something my mom used to say. You can't outgive a giver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very similar, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For sure. It's so important. And, we talked about in the previous shows about self discipline and habits and goal setting. Those are very, very essential for us to be a worthwhile citizen, what
yeah.
our youth,
Mm-hmm.
and feeling good within ourselves
Mm-hmm.
is
Yes.
so important, because we need to have the best self-esteem and self-confidence,
Mm-hmm.
because if we are at peace, we are happy inside, then we can give so much of it outside.
Oh, yeah.
See,
You're
you can't
exactly right.
give, you can't take out the money from the bank account if the
Mm-hmm.
money is not in the account.
There you go. That's
So
right.
we got to make deposits and deposits and deposits within ourselves to feel
Mm-hmm.
good about what this life has brought from
Mm-hmm.
where we are, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody watching us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are in different situations. We are in different walks of life. We are in different ages, but we all have challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Today is the topic on problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that adult people, adults and seniors and all, they don't have challenges. Everybody's got challenges.
Mm-hmm.
It's how we look at the challenges,
Mm-hmm.
how we face them, and how we overcome the challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Ajay,
There's a,
you want to add to that, brother? Come on. Yeah.
please, yes.
Absolutely. There's so much I want to add here because, this is something that, lights me up more than ever because I love working with kids. I love working with youth. And, after spending so many years working with adults, I realized that adults are quite stubborn. They're so set in their ways. And
Yeah.
whereas if you inspire a child, if you tell a child this is think differently or look at something a different way, they actually do it and they implement it and they
Oh, yeah.
notice how they feel. So, I've always been a believer that, I heard this quote by Norman Vincent Peale. He said, problems are a sign of life. See, a lot
Mm.
of people believe that they shouldn't have a problem or there shouldn't be a problem. But, he said that, the only people that don't have problems are the ones that are in the cemetery, which
Yeah.
means like you're dead if you don't have problems, which means
That's
if you
right.
have a problem, that means you're alive. That means there's something that needs your attention. And so I'm a big believer in perspective shifts. Instead of focusing on the problem, let's focus on the solution. And
Mm-hmm.
especially with youth, giving them the tools that work for them, that allow them to be solution oriented instead of focusing on the problem, but now we're
Right.
focusing on the solution.
Yeah.
And finding ways from a place of love, from a place of gratitude, to be able to show up and be that difference to so many people.
Oh,
And one
yeah.
other thing in terms of gratitude that I'm a firm believer in, it's like, I believe in the secrets living is giving. The more we can give and love without wanting anything in return, the more the universe just brings back. And giving
Mm-hmm.
doesn't necessarily have to be about money, right?
No.
Especially when I was 15 years old, I didn't have money to give. But
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing in life that's more valuable than money is time.
Mm-hmm.
And to all the kids listening, to all the youth listening, that's one thing we all have in common is 24 hours in a day. We
Mm-hmm.
all have that time, and your time is so valuable. Each of
Oh,
our
yeah.
times are so valuable. And when we can share our time from a place of unconditional giving,
Mm-hmm.
and we do that, and we each do that, beautiful things happen for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves and for our family and the community. And the goal is for all of us to move to that unconditional loving and giving place
Oh, yeah.
where we're so focused
Absolutely.
on we instead of I.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm
It's that,
talking to young. Go ahead.
it's that unconditional part that
Mm-hmm.
so
Yes.
many people don't get.
Oh, yeah.
And it's,
Yes.
and a huge part of that, and by unconditional, meaning not expecting anything in return.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Doing it, or as my dad used to say, do the right thing.
Yeah.
Do it as right as you can, and do it just because it's right, not because you want to get something back,
Mm-hmm.
but just
Yeah.
do. And when you're treating other people, the golden rule: treat others as they would like to be treated, or what's known by some as the platinum rule:
Mm-hmm.
treat others in the way
Just
that
like
you'd
you
like
want
to be treated.
to be
Yeah.
treated. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a powerful, powerful thing.
Mm-hmm.
So often, AJ, we meet people, we all know people who have been hurt in their life,
Yep.
in a relationship, in some treatment that they got somewhere, or whatever. But they have been hurt. Maybe the treatment they had as they were growing up.
Yeah.
They've been hurt, and so often we meet people who have this, I'll never be hurt
Closed.
like that again.
Yes.
And they lock
Yeah.
they lock themselves away.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And in doing so, they shut themselves out from the world
Yeah.
and the beauty that they bring and the joy that they bring
Mhm.
and the ways that they can impact others around them.
Amen.
And in unconditional giving and caring, when we're not doing it for what we're going to get,
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's where the joy really comes in, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
know,
And
I was just going to say very quickly, when I've talked to young people, and a lady from India wanted me to record something that she was going to share with some young people over there. And I simply recorded, about, the strangest secret was part of it from Earl Nightingale. But my point that I really wanted to hammer was that so many people, because I heard this from young people over there and all the way around the world. Well, the reason why, I don't have the money.
Mhm.
And I says, money is, the lack of money is stopping you from doing something is really a myth unless you believe it to be gospel.
Right.
It really is. Because if it's true and it's carved in stone somewhere, then how do you explain all of the rags to riches story
Mhm.
that you can read about? People who started with nothing in life, humble beginnings. Vinny, you're a classic example, your story. I love the story of the gentleman who grew up as a poor boy. His dad was a sharecropper,
Mhm.
and Fulton he went on and became a great success. And he was a black kid,
Yeah.
but he went to Chicago. He became a salesman, and he earned such a great respect from people because of his integrity. See, that's one thing that everyone has is integrity.
Yep. Yep.
And if you're true to your school and you're generous with others, you give people your time, your interest, your love, as far as respecting someone as another human being. I mean, my goodness gracious, your integrity, that is your stock. That's really your net worth. It really is.
So true. The trust comes with integrity.
Mm-hmm.
The trust with your peers. You rise up.
Yeah.
Everybody rises up in other people's minds, and whenever they're thinking about you, anybody
Mhm.
watching or listening to us, the key thing is, if we are trustworthy,
Yes.
if we have the integrity, if we
Mhm.
have the gumption that I want to be a better person,
Mhm.
other people will respect so much.
Oh,
You
yeah.
would not believe
Mm-hmm.
how you will be changing the world around you. I say that all the time. We are the sum of 5 people or 7 people. I love the number 7 always, because I came into this country with $7, as you know, we talked about it. But the key thing is that we want to be the best person ourselves,
Yes.
because then other people around us will be also getting better and better and better. If other people are not better than you, you be the leader.
Mm-hmm.
You be the Pygmalion. You be the positive person to pull people along so that
Mm-hmm.
they feel and give yourself unselfishly. That's what we are
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about today.
Yeah. If you try to improve someone else's life, you can't help but improve yourself.
Yes. Yes.
And that's like when I was an instructor in the military for 12 years. Every single time I normally had a standard. I studied and prepared 4 hours for every 1 hour I was on the podium, even though I was familiar with it.
Mhm.
And though never was a class that I did not teach, that either I learned something in the process of my study and delivery, or one of the students shared with me. And it's a win-win situation. And always remember this. I want to make this one point, and I'm going to turn it over to Emerson.
See?
Growing up, my mother used to always tell me, son, you're known by the company you keep. I thought that was just for kids, but you know what? That's a principle that goes all the way, follows you every step of the way down the pathway of life.
Yes.
Because I'm 75, I could be associated with criminals, and everybody say, well, he's a criminal. He associates with criminals.
Hmm.
Make sense? Yeah. So at a young age, you got to set your standard,
I love
and
that. I love that.
pick and choose the people you want to be
Yes. Yes.
associated with.
And not be afraid
There you
to
go.
let go. Not be afraid. I think that's the biggest trouble is that we
Amen.
want to please other people. We want to be better. We want to get better, but we don't want to take that step to lose some people who are not good influence in your
Yeah.
life.
Oh
Ajay,
yeah.
I'll let you kind of expand on that, brother. I know you talk to the
Exactly. Yes, I was
Yeah. Go
about to
ahead.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I want to
there's
hear
just so many
AJ
things
and
that are
how.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many things that are coming to my mind as you were sharing that.
yeah.
One piece just before I want to loop back to the unconditional love and unconditional giving. I'm a firm believer that unconditional love starts with you first,
Yeah.
right? Because none of us were given a manual for life. Every single
No.
That's
day,
good.
every single one of us are writing a new page in our life, right?
Yeah.
So, before we can forgive others, before we can love others, we have to truly love ourselves. And it's
Yeah.
one of the biggest challenges I've noticed now in kids is, teen suicide, unfortunately. And it
Oh
really
yeah.
Oh
stems
yeah.
down to the not loving yourself or not, having that self-love and confidence. And when we are able to practice that first on us unconditionally, our ability to love and be loved for others exponentiates. It truly does. And it's a practice, because just like going to the gym, you can't go once and be fit for life. You can't practice gratitude or practice love once and be grateful and loved for the rest of your life. It's an ongoing practice. And when we can fall in love with our growth and fall in love with ourselves from a place of, the more love I give myself, the more life I can share to others, the a massive shift occurs. And then on the last piece about oh my god, I just lost my train of thought. What were you just sharing, Vinay, about the
Oh. Oh. No, we were
okay,
talking. I know we were talking about lots of topics, but the
Yeah.
biggest thing is you choose your
Yeah.
company and
Set
you
your
got to
yes,
standard.
absolutely.
decide. Yeah,
Yeah.
please expand
Yeah,
on that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember when I was 14 years old and I heard this quote, you are who you spend time with, but I really didn't understand what that meant until I was 14 years old and I decided to become friends with this kid. I forgot his name, but he was like the naughty kid in school. I
Mhm.
wanted to get attention, and I knew if
Mhm.
I became friends with him, I would get the attention. Any attention is any attention is good attention, or good attention or
Mhm.
bad attention is any attention.
Yeah.
And after spending a week with him, I noticed my patterns started to shift. My communication style started to shift. I started to use the same languaging that he was using, and he got suspended the week after. And I
Oh.
Oh
remember
boy.
saying to myself, if I continue hanging out with this kid, I'm going to get suspended as well. Like we
Sure.
were building forts and he was stealing, like I found out later that he was stealing nails from construction sites, but I didn't know at that time. But I
Uh,
just thought he was a good kid and his intention was pure. And I made a decision that if I continue hanging out with him, it's going to lead me down a road that isn't going to serve me. So I
mhm.
had to let go of that relationship. And as difficult as it was back then, I was so grateful,
Yeah.
right? Because, it allowed me to choose a different path. So, you are who you spend time with is so true. Spend time with people that when you're around them, you can be yourself. And yourself meaning you could be bubbly, you could be happy, you could be joyous, you can say whatever you choose to say without getting judged.
Mhm.
Spend time with people that raise your standards, that bring you
Yeah.
to a higher level, that
Oh,
challenge your thinking. And if you don't have those people around in your life, find those people because they are there.
yeah.
Seek and ye shall find. Yeah.
You know, Everything that you're saying is so important. I think a lot of times, and this isn't especially for youth. This is for everybody. I know people in the 30s, 40s, 50s,
Yep.
60s, and on up
Yep.
who often will take things personally.
Mm.
Mhm.
And learning to step back from those emotions
Yeah.
is it's a critical lesson that it takes us time to learn. You
Yeah.
know, when the guy cuts me off in traffic in the morning and is throwing his finger out the window, you know, everything inside of me wants to gun and like, not gun, I want you, but really, mash on the gas
Yeah.
and come up and run him off the road. It's like, that's not helping anybody. It's not helping me because I'm internalizing it.
Yeah.
And hours later, I'll be having lunch and just fuming and telling them about this guy that cut me off. And you know what? He doesn't even know or remember or care.
No.
I'm
Yeah.
carrying that.
That's right.
And when we
That's right.
learn that
Yeah.
lesson, not to take, and it's not just situations like that. I think and with texting and with social media, it's so important because people will type in something or say something and
Oh,
we
yeah.
take it. Why did they say that? I can't believe
Yeah.
they did that. Can you believe it? Read this. And we have to
Yeah.
learn to step back, don't you
Step
think?
back.
Mhm.
Totally.
Just to step back and not take it, assume it's not personal,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or
It's
assume the best.
Yeah.
yes. I think it's
And
what you're saying, Emerson, is so important. So much is thrown at us
mhm,
verbally, in print, in
Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
in behavior, in whatever people make gestures, like you
Mhm.
just said.
Mhm.
It's up to us to take care of us and put that shield around us. I really
Mhm.
talk about shield because you could get a lot of negativism,
Yeah.
lot of different people throwing. If somebody threw mud at us, what will we do? We'll probably try to, put our hands up, right? We don't want that mud to be, got on our face or whatever. Or that's just a small way. The other way is to put a shield around us of negativism,
yeah,
and who you are, you need to know who you are.
Mhm.
And you should be on the soundest foundation,
Oh,
because
yeah.
when you build a 21-story building, that building is going to be built with the biggest hole right down in the earth first to have lay out the foundation, and then it's going to go up there. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
when the wind comes or the earthquake comes in San Francisco, where I live and all that, we don't have to worry that
Yeah.
it's going to fall down.
Yeah.
That's the attitude I would like, metaphorically,
Yeah.
everybody to think about. Who do you stand on?
Mhm.
Where are you? Where are your values? Where are your
Yeah.
foundations? And you are who you are,
Mhm.
so strong that nothing can tilt you. I mean,
Yeah.
learn from the situations, but don't let it bother you. Don't let
Oh,
it
yeah.
get into your mind. That's
Mhm.
why I would love to promote this book. Winnie is always a salesperson. So positivity brings profitability. I wrote this book about 4 years back, by the way. My
Mhm.
wife inspired me. I wrote my first book in syndication, but then she said to me, I didn't like the book. I said, oh my gosh, I put so much heart out in it. So I have revised it now,
Mhm.
and it's the revision, and I rewrote the book, and I'm
Yeah.
so fortunate that we are launching it this week. It's about positivity. It's about really what we are talking about. You got to really
Mhm.
be so positive in your mind.
Mhm.
Brain is so small, so I teach in the book how to get the negativism out.
Yeah.
If you don't take the negative thoughts out, there is not room to get positivity in.
Mm.
It's just like
Yeah.
in the bank, I said, withdrawals and adding, but you
Uh-huh.
got to, or in the jar, if you put so many things in there, there is not much space left to put the more positive in there.
Mhm.
So you got to really be, again,
Oh, yeah.
who we are, we should believe and do everything possible in giving gratitude, which we are talking today, and giving that positive vibes and everything to people, peer group, and everybody, so that we are standing straight and not
Abs-
letting the things bother us.
oh
Ajay, you
yeah.
want to expand on that, brother? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I learned this from Tony Robbins actually, and he explained it so well. He said, the meaning that we attach to any experience will determine how we feel. So Emerson,
Oh yeah.
brother, when you were talking about the car, and like I use this example so often, is like if someone cuts you off, you could make it mean that they disrespected you, they didn't like you, they didn't see you, right? Especially if you have, like the other day, my sister who's 6 months pregnant was in the car, and if someone cut me off and she's in the car, I'm gonna make it mean they want to hurt my nephew or my niece, right?
Mhm.
That's the feeling I could generate inside. And then
Yeah.
the actions that we immediately take after that meaning is either I'm gonna honk my horn, I'm gonna push on the gas pedal, or we can choose forgiveness. Or we can choose, you know what? It doesn't, maybe they didn't see me. Have I ever cut off anybody in the past? Yes. Was it an accident? Yes. It's okay. He or she may have needed to go. I'm just going to let it go, and I'm going to choose
Yeah.
forgiveness. I'm going to choose love. And
Mhm.
that muscle needs to be practiced throughout. Even if it's something like this morning, my dad gave me this look, and I made it mean he didn't love me and he didn't care for me. And I was like, what? What did I do? What did I say? And
Yeah.
it sat with me for 10 minutes. And I went downstairs. I was like, Dad, what's happening? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, you gave me this look when I asked you a question. And he's like, oh, I didn't even hear you. And I was like, oh. So in that 10 minutes, I made it mean that my dad didn't hear me. He disrespected me. He didn't love
Yeah.
me. And the actions I decided to take was I'm not going to talk to him for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I've practiced this and it's 10 minutes. But 6 years ago, 10 years ago, it used to be 6 days. I deal
Ah,
with clients
Yeah.
who this is 6 years,
yeah.
right? So it's a muscle we have to practice.
Yeah.
It
One
is.
thing I
And
like
it
to
is
point
not,
out
it's
too.
not always easy to practice it in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's caring enough about yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's really about we're going
Self-love.
right back down to that.
Yeah.
It's caring enough about yourself
Yeah.
Mhm.
that you go through the process in the moment
Yeah.
and you don't let it sit in there and
Oh,
fester and get
Yeah.
hard and get worse.
Mhm.
And that's such a hard lesson for so many people to learn.
Yeah.
And there are divorces that are caused by it. There's not Jim's heart attack, but there are heart attacks. There's illnesses that's caused from it.
Mhm.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
all sorts of there are horrible crimes that we
Oh,
see
yeah.
every day
Yeah,
that are
come on.
caused for
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
same reasons.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
letting go of it gets it out of you.
Ah,
It's you. It's your feelings, your emotions, your life. It's all of that. Holding that
yeah.
disempowers you.
Yeah.
Letting go of it, now you're choosing
Mhm.
and you're empowering yourself.
So true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember one time I was invited to speak out in Phoenix and to some young people, and they told me what they wanted me to speak on, which was on this topic here. And fortunately for me, I had just had been visiting with my good friend Bill Heinrich, and Emerson knows Bill very well. And he's the guy, the 7 levels of truth, love yourself first and you love others and all that. But then, with those young people, I just got right down to the nitty gritty. And I'm so glad the way Emerson explained that situation, how we can all get mentally fired up. We can all do that. That's as easy as pie.
Yeah.
That's as easy as slipping and falling on an icy sidewalk, right? But here's the thing. Hate and fear are alike in one way.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it consumes you and it flares up in you, guess what? You are its slave.
Yeah.
Right.
It
Right.
owns you.
Yeah.
And as soon as you love yourself enough to say, I'm going to let it go.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a bird flying through the air, and some kid's out there at the BB gun and shoots at it and misses. The bird goes on. The bird doesn't stop in midair and turn around and say, "What are you doing shooting at me?" Or to, leave a deposit on your forehead while I'm here, But, that's the point. The bird goes on.
Mhm.
And you should go on too. You should let it go because if like Emerson said, if you let it fester within you, it owns you. You're now its slave. Think about that. And I just wanted to share that with you folks today.
And
Yeah,
who
and
wants to be a slave? Nobody should be slaving. I mean, we should be totally free. I know those
Amen.
are the two things. People live life in fear.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be so straight because fearfulness is there. But
Yeah.
how can we get out of it and live the life of no fear?
Yeah.
Living
So,
the
so
life, please,
yeah,
Ajay.
absolutely. And fear is there, and fear is always going to show up, right?
Uh-huh.
But
Hmm.
how can we create a more beautiful relationship with our fears?
Hmm.
Right, because each of our fears are different. Jim, what may scare you may be completely different than Emerson, and Emerson, what may scare you completely different than Vinny and myself. So we have to acknowledge our fears, and then the quickest way to eliminate fear is, in my opinion, and what I've noticed, is to show up in love, gratitude, and appreciation, because it's impossible to be grateful and loved and appreciative and be fearful at the exact same time. See, these are
That's right.
moments of it. So we need to create more moments of love, more moments of trust, more moments of gratitude and appreciation, and that will reduce the number of times that we are in states of fear.
And
Ah,
and
You're
and it's
absolutely
so
right.
it is so true. And fear is the root of anger.
yeah,
Fear is the root of revenge and getting back and
yeah,
hurting somebody else and all of the different things. It's fear that's at that heart of that. And the person may feel like they're powerful and everything else, but the reality is they're a hurt person who has never dealt and handled their fear. And the only way to handle that fear is what you're talking about, AJ.
yeah,
That's the only way to handle it, is that sense of gratitude, that
yeah,
sense
Yeah.
of caring, that sense of love, that sense of acceptance
yeah,
Mhm.
is another great one to simply be willing to accept.
yeah,
I don't have to agree to accept.
Yeah.
I don't have to sign on with
mhm,
whatever it is that you're feeling, to accept the fact that they're your feelings, to accept the fact that I can't change your feelings
so true.
or how you think or what you believe. Only you can.
Yeah.
Only you can. And
Only
it's
you.
true with with everything we're talking about. It is so true.
And as today's topic, we have been talking so great things. I hope everybody's getting a lot of good messages today. Please do chime in every Wednesday in our show. And every week we take a different topic. And problem solving, we talked about, which was our main crust. This is what it's all about. If we are able to really be at calm and peace and everything within ourselves and have the best self esteem, then problem solving will happen.
Yes.
It will, the problems may not be even problems because you look at it different way. Just like AJ said, look at the solutions. And that's the key. Rather than looking at the problem and why it happened and why we are in it and why God is bad to me and all these problems and stress is coming to me, let's find the solutions. Let's hit the nail on the head. And the sooner we face the challenges, then the challenges say, let's get away from this guy. I wanted to make his life miserable, but he's happy.
AJ, I want to hear how you're applying this in the work that you're doing,
Yeah.
which is so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I'm a big believer in teaching these tools and technologies and principles to the youth so they can implement it themselves and have these tools for the rest of their life. Right? Because like I said, fear is always going to show up, bullies will always show up, problems will always show up. But one thing that remains constant is ourselves, our body, our mind, our soul, our thoughts, our actions. So I'm a big believer in giving a treasure test, literally thousands of different tools and technologies that could work for an individual, and allowing them to test which one works for them. And when they implement them and when they see the difference, then it works for them. And that's why I love the work I do, because it's lifelong, truly.
Well, talk a little bit more about that, about the
Yeah.
stuff that you're doing, because some of
Yeah.
it's really exciting.
Please.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So many things I do. One, but all into
Yes,
like
there really are.
everything. Yeah, everything I do has some way of giving back, or some way of creating an impact. But I am creating. I've been doing a lot of one-on-one coaching with kids, but now I'm created a course, and I'm creating an online platform that gives teenagers access to all of this information. See, giving a child access to this information is really important. And that's one thing I want to be able to do. It doesn't matter whether you're in Michigan, whether you're in New York, whether you're in India, whether you're in Australia. If you need support, you need help, there is guidance out there. And it's really simplifying all of these tools, all of these technologies, all of these lessons in an easy way for these children to understand and implement. And then once they start implementing, like, they see the difference it is for them. So I'm very hands-on. I'm very like, let's have a look at what you're feeling. Like, okay, your sister said that to you. What did you make that mean? What could you make that mean? And have them make these changes live in person, because these are the same situations and patterns that show up every single week, right? So 95% of everything that we do, we learn before the age of 18. Everything that we do, we happens every single day with like repetition, repetition, repetition. So it's like finding these key patterns, helping them find their own patterns, and helping them become a master of their own life, essentially.
Mhm.
Wow.
At the young age, which they're going to then carry on
Yeah.
every day, every week, every month. And as they grow, they'll be so strong. Oh my gosh, they'll be just a different human being. So, does it take like 6 months or a year, AJ? What's your thinking? I mean, how do you find what
Yeah.
works? Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. So there is no fixed answer, right? And the personal development journey of life is a journey, right? And it's lifelong.
Sure.
I've noticed within 3 months, within 90 days, a lot of children understand the material and they're able to implement it. Um, 90 days is really all it takes, truly. Because there are very simple things, like I remember Tony Robbins once told me, he's like, AJ, complexity is the enemy of execution. I was
Mhm.
like, that's so true, right? Like
So true.
when I first started youth coaching, I had all of these different programs and these different frameworks, and the kid just looked at me like, huh? And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
like, let's simplify this, right? So
Yes.
it depends on the child, but children are so fascinating. They absorb things very quickly, and once they absorb it and they love it and they see the difference, they just keep going. Like, I'll give you an example. I introduced a gratitude exercise to a 5-year-old, and it was very simple in the beginning. Just at the end of the day, say one thing you are grateful for, one thing that made you happy today, one thing that you are excited about today. And this individual did it 3 days a week, 4 days a week. 6 months later, now they're doing 3 to 5 pieces of gratitude a day, and they don't sleep until they've shared with their family what are they grateful for. They've
Mhm.
improved sleep, improved school, improved, relationship, communication. And this girl's 6 years old.
Wow.
Imagine the compound effect when she's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yes. Yes.
it's life changing. It'll save the world, in my opinion.
Well,
Oh,
and when you go to bed, and you mentioned at night and sharing with the family, when the last things that you're doing
Yep.
are those types of things, what so many people don't understand, our subconscious mind never sleeps.
I'll be
Amen.
right back. Yeah.
It
Sorry.
Yeah.
never stops.
Hmm.
And the last things that we're thinking about at night,
Hmm.
people always said, don't go to bed with an argument, you know. Well, that's kind of based in this, but this is bigger than that. It's
Mhm.
the things that you're thinking about when you put your head on the pillow. Your subconscious is going to keep working through that night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you want those things to be things that are going to build you up
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
and heal your relationship and
Mhm.
and solve the the issues and the things that you might have dealt with during the day, not
Yeah.
things that are going to just keep tearing at you
Yeah.
and reminding you and poking at you and
Mhm.
and that's that's it's not just about sleep.
Mm-mm.
It's about your health. It's about
Yeah.
how your life ends up being,
Right.
Yeah. And
because your
it's a
subconscious mind is going at it
Mhm.
24/7.
Yeah.
yeah. And
And
biochemically, it changes your body, right? Like I
Mhm.
don't
It
know the
changes your
Yeah.
studies, the
body.
exact
Yeah.
studies, but there are
Yeah.
studies that show that when you're in a angry state or a fearful state, it takes about 6 to 8 hours for your body to get back to equilibrium,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
when you're in that angry, fearful state, your blood starts to lump up, your circulatory system starts to slow down, and it really affects your organs, right?
Mhm.
But imagine if someone's in that angry, fearful, and people are in an angry, fearful state 12 to 15 hours a day, then your body doesn't have the chance to actually get to equilibrium.
Right.
Versus if you put
Right.
yourself in a beautiful, grateful, loving state, it literally, like if you look under a microscope, what happens to your blood and your system, it's like nourishment, right? And it's like it's a choice. So it's
Mhm.
like no matter what's happening on in your life, there's always something that we can focus on that will bring us
Mhm.
pain and suffering. But at
Mhm.
the same time, there's always something so beautiful that can bring us love, gratitude, and appreciation.
Oh
And we
yeah.
just have to
And
choose. Yeah, go ahead.
no, what AJ is saying there, this isn't some frou-frou kind of, you know, this has been tested. They've done brain scans.
Mhm.
Schools like Scripps and Harvard and others
Mhm.
for decades now, 20, 30
Yeah.
years. They've
Yeah.
done this is how your body is wired,
Mhm.
and you have the ability to change that process
Yeah.
by doing some of the things that AJ is talking about here.
Oh yeah.
And they have measured this on scans. This isn't, again, this is how our bodies are wired.
Mhm.
When we understand that, it's not just about emotions. Do I feel good? Did they hurt my feelings? Did this happen or that
Mhm.
happen? And how do I feel about it? And what am I going to do about it? No,
Mhm.
no. Your brain is wired. Your body is wired. Your biochemistry
Mhm.
is done in a
Yeah.
certain way. And
Mhm.
when you bring this sense of gratitude and positivity into
Yes.
Mhm.
it, that changes your body and your health
Mhm.
and everything
Yeah.
else.
I'm just going to quickly say, since we're getting close on time, how many times
Yes.
have we woken up from a nightmare and we're all, like this, And this, the second thing I want to just make, point out is that if we're worried about something, the sad part of
Good
that,
morning. Good morning.
the sad part about that is that we are training
Yeah,
our
I'm just
brain.
wrapping up my show. I'll
Yeah.
be right with you.
We are actually training our brain for those negative things that we're worried about to come true in our life, because the subconscious mind, whether you believe it or not, it will
Yes.
not let you fail. That's a
So
principle.
so true. So true. I apologize. I had to slip out, and I think we started the show a little bit later. I've
That's
got
okay.
my other show going on
Hmm.
with daily code reading with my metaverse company. which is reality AR
Yeah.
from India and all over the world. We are doing that board meeting today. So
Okay.
I
Well,
will see you guys.
we're gonna
Okay.
release you right now.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Ajay. AJ, thank you
Vinny,
so much.
thank
It's,
you.
Vinny?
AJ, we got to have you back.
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
Absolute
Yeah.
please
pleasure. I
join us.
appreciate
Please
it.
join
Yeah.
us. That'll be
Give
very
my love
kind.
to your folks, okay?
I
Yes.
will, brother. I will. So grateful to you all. Thank you,
Yeah.
Vinny. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Super.
Emerson.
Thank you. My
God bless
pleasure.
you
Bye-bye.
all.
We'll see you next
Have a
week,
good
Vinny.
day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow, that was a wonderful show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
My goodness. I mean, this kind of show we always like to put on. And
Yeah,
Emerson,
that
I
was
tell you right now, I just, that just blew me away that you knew his parents.
Isn't that something?
Oh, gosh, yes. And you stayed at
Yeah.
his house.
Yeah, I've stayed in his house. He was probably 10 or 12 at the time.
That'd be doggone.
It was a house. It's a house in Celebration, Florida, which Celebration was built by by the Disney groups. It's like a whole planned community.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, ladies-
Neil was in the winner's circle with me, and he invited me. He was doing an event and invited me to do a day of it. And on another one of his events, I took my Emily, who lives in Orlando now. I took her down, and she was dating this Indian guy at the time. I think I said all of this, but she was dating, and that cultural difference just wasn't working. And so Anil said, have him come to this a couples thing that I'm doing. It was like a 2-day or 3-day thing on relationship building and stuff like that. So yeah.
That'd be doggone. That's amazing.
Isn't that
Yeah, we got-
something?
Yeah, it sure is. Vinny's going to be back next week. We're going to be talking about financial literacy and all. And our time is gone, as you can hear the background music trying to kick us out of here.
Oh,
but
it's still on. I thought.
yeah. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for tuning in today. We sincerely hope you've enjoyed the show. Be sure and share the show with others. And we'll be back next week, same time, same place, same station.